Welcoming all of you once again. I'm just waiting for another minute and then we'll begin. Thank you so much for joining in. And so we'll go with the class in a flow. And if you have any questions, you all can type it out in the chat box and I'll take it up after the class. So I'll begin here. If the other participants, I'm going to allow them for another 5 minutes. Okay. So starting with the name of the class, the very first topic is, what does money mean to you? And what does money doesn't mean to you? So we have a lot of theories, a lot of assumptions, a lot of beliefs around money. And today I'm gonna cover it from a very fundamental point of view, from a very foundational point of view, from the base where we can start, where we can begin to see what we believe in, and we can also begin to transform and move towards the reality that we wish to go to. So broadly, I would be covering these topics. What is abundance? What is manifestation? What is limiting belief system? How does they impact us? What is the role of limiting belief system in abundance? We'll spend some time here. And we'll also talk about the first steps that we can take in order to have that abundant life that we are willing to live in. I will also talking about my upcoming workshop, which is specifically curated to work on money beliefs. So starting off with the first topic, what is abundance? Right. Abundance refers to a plentiful, over-sufficient supply of something. Requesting all of you to keep your audios on mute. Thank you. So abundance refers to a plentiful, over-sufficient supply of something, and to manifest it means to make it come true. Every human being aspires toward a life of well-being, prosperity, and happiness. All of us here, somewhere deep down, wish to manifest a life of abundance, and that brings us to this circle, to this class. We desire to have a long and healthy life of limitless possibilities, immense wealth, and loving and harmonious relationships with others. Such a state of emotional, spiritual, and material fulfillment is described as a state of abundance. So, why did I write this here clearly is because when we talk about abundance, we often think of something which is outside of us. And I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so that I can discuss this. Yeah. Can you all see me? Anyone can type yes? Yeah. Thank you. Great. All right. So when we talk about abundance, we often think of something which is outside of us. However, abundance actually refers to a state in which we live, it refers to a space which is emotionally fulfilling, which is materially fulfilling, and it starts with us. It starts right here. So when we think of having an abundant life, the focus has to come back to the being that we are, and the ideas, the attitude, the behaviors, the thought patterns that we have around money. That is where it actually begins, right? Okay. So financial abundance focuses on the possible favorable outcomes for our financial situation, and it allows us openness to any path leading to those outcomes. Furthermore, financial abundance results in having more than enough money and lead a lifestyle of plenty. This is what financial abundance looks like. And here on, we will be focusing specifically on financial abundance, right? So first thing and the base here is that whenever we think of abundance, we need to come back to how we feel in our own bodies. Do we feel abundant? Do we feel deserving of the things that we already have right now? Or do we feel somewhere that we are not worthy, or maybe this is not enough? Coming to the next topic, which is manifestation. So we have a lot of theories around manifestation. We have a lot of belief systems around manifestation, and I have a lot of queries where people ask me about how, law of attraction, how does it work? If we strongly intend to get something, do we get it? What we often miss is how do we actually feel about having that sort of money or having that sort of life which we are actually seeking for. And when we are aligned in terms of how we feel and what we want, it is only then when the law of attraction actually can work, right? We often confuse by our thoughts, and we feel that we are thinking beings here. But as human beings, we often forget that we have emotions that are constantly channeling within us. And knowing these emotions, becoming aware, knowing a way to move through it, and also aligning it to the abundant life that we seek for is of prime focus here. So manifesting abundance begins with the right frame of mind. It requires us to overcome our own inner limiting beliefs. And we'll talk about limiting beliefs and what they are in the next slide. But let's see what manifestation is. Abundance is all about how we see ourselves in the world. An abundance mindset starts with a deep belief that we are enough, we are worthy, that we have enough, and that we are deserving of the things we have in our life. This deep belief is the foundation for manifesting. Manifesting is about making everything we want to feel and experience a reality for us through our beliefs, emotions, and hence behaviors. So, when we say that this deep belief is the foundation for manifesting, knowing it is one part, and actually being able to feel that way in our own bodies is another part of it. So knowing this tells us that yes, it is possible, and it is out here in this universe. And if we know and if we align ourselves, we will be able to do this. So knowing the possibility is one part of it, and aligning ourselves to this possibility is the next step, right? Okay. Yeah. So manifesting isn't about asking the universe for help and then stepping back and waiting for what you want to just fall into your lap. We have to do the work. We have to take powerful, aligned action to achieve our goals. This isn't a passive exercise. I'm going to talk about this particular step a little bit more because when we say about doing the work, we often think of doing something as a chasing activity, going towards something which is outside of us. So when we ask the universe for anything that we desire to have, working towards it essentially means aligning our own bodies, our own selves towards this desire. How does this desire make me feel? Am I open in my heart to receive this life or this thing that I'm wanting to have? Or is my body restricting? Is my body constricting itself as I'm thinking to have this? Am I feeling I'm never going to have this? And do I feel no matter how much I work, this might not just happen for me? Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I don't have the experience. Maybe there are better people out there. There are competitors who are better than me. So all of these beliefs kind of constrict us, and they serve as blocks in this alignment that I'm talking about. Alignment is something where the desire and the feeling towards the desire is in alignment, where I feel open in my body, where my heart center is open, where I feel safe, and I don't feel threatened or I don't feel fear when I actually put out this in the universe, for put out any wish, anything out in the universe. So when I say about doing the work, I essentially mean doing the work inside, knowing how my body feels, and am I even aligned towards my desire? There is a great universal source of unlimited energy, wealth, and success. To manifest abundance means to tap into that source, to attune one's body and mind to its vibrations, so that unlimited flow of prosperity becomes reality. So when we look at nature around us, we see that it has an unlimited energy, unlimited wealth and success. We live in an infinite world with infinite possibilities. The only thing, the only requesting all of you to just mute your mics so that we can have a seamless experience. Thank you. Okay, so there is infinite possibilities out there, and in order to have that or even have a piece of that, what we essentially need to be cognizant of or what we need to be aware of is how we respond to abundance, how we respond to having these sources, these resources in our lives. So it all starts with how I feel about my desires, about the things that I want, about a lifestyle that I look forward to. We are all creators capable of reshaping our present circumstances into a life of prosperity and abundance. But we are creature of habits. Perhaps one of the most dangerous habit is that of sticking to old limiting beliefs. And we need to learn how to identify and eliminate such limiting thoughts. So we must realize that we are all conditioned beings, we are all creature of habits, and we learned them long back in our childhood. There are so many things, so many habits, so many thought patterns that we have around money that we have seen one or the other in our family, in our environment, our teachers, our surroundings. We have seen them dealing with money. We have seen them talking about money. We see how our environment responds towards an abundant life. And as children, we often gather and we often absorb these experiences, these beliefs, and we limit ourselves unknowingly towards the greater reality that is out there in the universe. So, coming to limiting beliefs, what are limiting beliefs and what role does it play in our day to day life? How is it a block to manifestation? How is it a block to my abundant life? So, let's deep dive a little bit into what are limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are the beliefs that restrict our lives in some way, shape, or form and blocks us from our fullest potential. We often pick these up from our childhood and life experiences. Our belief is a protective mechanism in our subconscious mind, which has taken on an important function at an early age, specifically to protect us from radical decisions, to evaluate what is right or wrong, or to prevent us from making important decisions. The problem with our beliefs is that once they are embedded in our subconscious mind, they remain there, they do not change much. It becomes a part of our personality, and we often find familiarity and comfort with our attitude towards money. So, I'll give an example here from my own life. As I was growing up, I hardly heard any conversation about how much money does my dad earn. So my dad was the one who was earning money, and my mom was a homemaker. And there was this constant hushing of how much money do we actually have. So growing up, I hardly had any view or visibility into how much exactly do we have. Although it was okay for me and we did not have any survival issue, but there was no visibility. So what happened and what I learned growing up was that maybe that talking about money is bad, or sharing how much I earn with people, with friends, maybe is not right. And I realized this when I started earning myself, when I started doing jobs, and when I had money with me and I wanted to share this with people, I often found myself crippled with fear as to there's something wrong about it. So, keeping this belief and living with it was some way restricting me and constricting me in my body and was not allowing me to have ease and fun with money. So, that is just one of the examples, and I'll cover more examples as we go ahead. When we say that these beliefs are gathered early on in life and it becomes part of our personality, part of our brains, and it's not like we are cognizant of it as we do transactions in our day-to-day lives, and it just becomes a part of the personality and we start feeling that this is who I am. We often use phrases like I know I can't afford it, this is way too expensive, this is not a profitable deal, maybe these people are looting me, this is how I am. And all of this makes us comfortable into this personality, into this shell in which we are, not knowing that there is a great possibility out there if we are ready to break down these walls, if we are ready to question these beliefs. Instead of saying, I know I can't afford it, we can also say, what would it take for me to afford it? And then listening to that inner call and following the direction that it leads me to, doing the work that it takes to actually afford it. So when we say things like, I know I can't have it, I know this is who I am, maybe I don't deserve it, we actually conclude our reality with money. We don't realize that by saying this, we are actually limiting ourselves and not allowing ourselves to have a possibility where we can live an abundant life. And it brings back the first premise where we said that having a deep belief that we are enough, we are worthy, we have enough, and that we are deserving of the things we have in our life is where an abundance mindset actually starts. So, for all of you, the first step here is to maybe identify these statements that I often use in my day to day life when it comes to something that I want to have. It can be more money, it can be a thing, it can be an abundant lifestyle. It is personal to you. However, identify these statements which doesn't allow you to question and be in the space where you can actually work towards a greater reality. So, are you being in question or in conclusion is one of the biggest takeaways that I have had very early on in my life when I started to shift my reality around money. I realized that there were so many statements, there were so many things that I simply believed in. For example, one of my personal limiting belief which has been a greatest block in my life was that that I have to work very hard to earn money. This is what I saw growing up. I heard this from my family, I heard this from my teachers, and it was a constant thing within me that I have to work very, very hard to earn money. Now, this is a conclusive statement, this is not a question. And I ended up working very hard, and there was absolutely no other way to earn money. Every time I earned money easily, I actually started believing that this is not right and I did not put enough work, so I should not be getting this. And I had these feelings, and all the avenues where I used to get money easily actually stopped. So, my importance and my faith and my trust in believing that you have to work a lot and very hard to earn money was way stronger than having money from easy sources in my life. So, this is the power of belief, and this is why it is actually limiting. Because when we believe in something, we actually close the doors to all the other infinite possibilities which is out there. So, whatever is your conclusion, try to find it out, list them down, and be in the question, convert it into the question, just like I did for one. I did this for, I know I can't afford it. What will it take for me to afford it? What will it take for me to earn money easily? What would it take to have an abundant life? Instead of saying, I know I can't have it, I know this is way too tough, I know this is looking like impossible, I don't have the experience. What would it take for me to have this in my life? What would it take is the golden phrase which allowed me to shift my attitude towards my money reality. So list down all the possible conclusions that you have already made about your money reality and start questioning them and feel the energy in your body. Don't answer. Don't try to answer them too fast. Just be in the question and see how you feel as you are just in the question. Okay. So let's talk about some common limiting money beliefs that I've come across as I've worked with clients and also seen in my own personal life. Money, so as I read them out, just check, all of you, just check which one relates to you more, which one is changing your body. Is it changing a sensation? Is it bringing up something? So see how you feel in your body as I read out these beliefs, and see which one is closer to you, which one is more resonating. Okay. So money is the root of all evil. Money corrupts people. It is not polite to talk about money. If you have money, people will love you only for money. Getting rich requires you to take advantage of others or do unethical things. Rich people are greedy. The only way to create wealth is by saving it. Money needs to be held on to. You have to work hard for money. I can either make money or follow my passion. This is a very common one which I've come across, that people always feel that if they follow their passion, they might not be able to make money. However, it is not true. It is a limiting belief that comes from the collective that we have grown up in, from the family systems that we have grown up in, and from the environment that we have grown up in, right? So, having this belief is so core that we end up actually attracting a reality where we are unable to have both. However, if we work on these beliefs and if we identify and release them, if we make way for new beliefs, we actually can begin to have that abundance in our life. And it always starts with having that abundance within you, within your current reality. So check which one of this is resonating with you. Most poor people do not deserve money. You can have love or money, but not both. I will not buy something unless it's new or a famous brand. Poor people are lazy. Money is what gives life meaning. Self worth is equal to your net worth. Money is the key to happiness. Money can solve any problem. There will never be enough money. You cannot be happy if you are poor. Money is power, money buys freedom. I will never get out of debt. I will lose my job. I will lose all my money. I will never be able to save enough money. I will never be able to afford anything I desire. You cannot trust people around money. If you have money, people will cheat you. These are just some of the beliefs that I've seen people commonly have around money. And there's often an emotion which is related to these beliefs. For example, the last bullet where it's written that I will never get out of debt, I will lose my job, I will lose all my money. There's a lot of fear here. There's a lot of fear which is attached to money. I will lose my job, I will lose all my money, I'll never be able to save enough, I'll never be able to afford everything. So there's a lot of fear. When we work deeper into such beliefs, and say, taking fear as an example, if I go further down, it is often seen that either this person had a childhood where the family went through some sort of a money trauma, where either someone was cheated in business. It can be the client's father, it can be the client's mother, it can be the grandparents, but someone down the line actually went through an experience where they might have lost their job, they might have lost their money. And these experiences actually percolate down and drill down via the cell memory to all of us, to this client, who will then believe into this fear without actually having to deal with it in his current reality. Even if these beliefs are outdated, they don't serve us in our day to day lives now, but we still carry them in our bodies because it is a part of our experience, it is a part of our family's experience, and it is somewhere there in the cell memory, in the body. And until we realize it, we become aware of it, and we release it, we are unable to manifest that abundant life that we desire for. These subconscious beliefs, these limiting beliefs, they keep our bodies constricted. We also can sometimes find ourselves confused with our money reality. Some people often come with a doubt that, I have done so much, but I still don't feel good about having money. Some people, even after earning a lot of money, they find themselves engulfed in the same fears, in the same emotions around money. So, dealing with our attitude, our emotions, and how we feel and how we deal with money is very important. One more important thing here is that when we look at these limiting beliefs, when we actually start identifying them, it is very important to not have any sort of discrimination, right? So it is extremely important that we drop all sorts of judgments when we look at these beliefs. If we discriminate between this belief is good, this is bad, maybe I will look into this and I will not look into this. This is not a space from where we'll get answers or insights at all. So when we look at our beliefs, the space and the attitude that we must have is of complete non-discrimination, of an observer, of a neutral space where we have capacity to look at all of it and not judging them, putting all the walls down and see how we actually feel when we are exchanging money, when we are having a transaction, when we are having desires, when we are talking about money. So start looking at them without judgment, because these are the subtle languages that are actually guiding you and telling you your own attitude towards money. And becoming aware of them is the first step to even think about the transformation, right? Anything that we transform, that we wish to transform, we must know it first. So when we actually know it first, when we become aware of it, and when we distance ourselves a little bit, when we drop the judgment, we actually find that space where we can look at it and begin to shift the things that we would like to shift. It is only then where we find the courage to drop the outdated beliefs that we don't have and incorporate the ones that we would like to have. Okay. So I'll go back to this 1 second. Okay. So I will be coming up with a 3-week experiential program, which will be starting on the 1st of December. And this includes 3 one-on-one sessions. And the sessions are structured in a manner where we will work on identification of the beliefs that are core to you. Then we will have a healing session, the inner child work, which is around that belief. And we will then also, the third session will be around the abundance mindset, which is unique to you. And all the dates and the slots will be according to mutual convenience. And I already have 2 registrations, so 4 participants. I'm open for 4 more participants. If any one of you find yourself pulled towards changing your money reality and working at a fundamental level, do get in touch. And I will be sharing the link for registration with all of you. Right? So you can take the contact details from here. And an abundant life opens up when we start feeling abundant in our own bodies. This is the takeaway that I would like all of you to have today, that it is only when we start realizing our own attitude, our own emotions around money, when we start to actually reflect what were the stories that I've heard around money, what are the different dialogues that I have heard around money. How was I encouraged to spend money when I was a child, or was I not encouraged? How did my parents react, or how did my guardian react when I went up to them and I asked for money? Was I welcomed with the question, or was I shut down? So reflecting on to our experiences around money growing up is the first step for us to realize our current attitude towards money. And going ahead, we must take action towards healing those mindset patterns, healing those thought patterns, and becoming more open for an abundant life that we wish to actually attract. So it all starts here. It all starts with you, and it all starts where when we actually reflect back and we realize what we have gathered and what have we actually made ourselves familiar with and comfortable with. So this often seems a little uncomfortable, unfamiliar when we try to shift our belief systems and when we try to shift our mindset around it. But that is actually a sign that we are opening ourselves and we are trying to have that infinite possibility which is out there waiting for us to realize and tap into it. Okay. So I'm opening up for questions. I'm almost all done here. So any one of you, if you have any questions, feel free to type it out. Or if you would like to, you can also raise your hand, whatever suits you. I don't think I'm having any question. Just a second. Ramya, would you like to go off mic and say your question?
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is, like, once we realize all these fears or whatever is limiting us, after that, what we can do? That's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Like in the session itself, I actually noticed few of my fears.
Right.
But what is the next step?
So as you realize your limiting beliefs, once you realize them, the next step is to actually heal, actually work on them. How are you feeling as you are realizing them would be my question to you. How do you feel in your body right now as you realize some of your limiting beliefs? How do you feel?
There's like one sort of tension in my neck, and the
Okay.
other strong urge or the feeling is like I have to get over all this. That urge. I can feel that urge.
Right, right. So separating the urge from the feeling and creating space to look at them both, it requires therapeutic healing. Okay, Ramya. So
Mm-hmm.
when as you feel the tension in the neck, so it's actually something which is telling you that this belief is somewhere around here, and it is constricting me, it is not letting me go out of my shell. So to be able to release it and go out of it, there has to be a therapeutic process, going to the first time, going to the childhood memory where it first got absorbed as a part of you, going to the root and healing it from the root is what is essentially needed. Right now what you can do is you can write it on a
Okay.
piece of paper. You can write all the beliefs that resonated with you, write all of them, and you can simply burn the paper, release it, take a deep breath and release it, and see how you feel in your neck after that. Okay. And you can
Okay.
continue doing this, however, to heal it from the root, and to be able to be in that space, all day, or to be able to create new beliefs, you will have to heal it from the root.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Rahul has a question. Go, Rahul.
Hey, hi Shruti.
Hi.
Thanks for taking me through the topics of abundance, manifestation, and limiting beliefs. It was really nice, and I could relate to most of the topics which you touched upon. So,
Most welcome.
so the query which I want to put forward is like I just wanted to understand from you, like what behavior should an individual imbibe, considering the fact that he is already exposed to too much of wealth in terms of money, like and even say he loses all those money, then he realizes what the value of money was. So instead of going through that process of losing entire thing, what should the behavioral uh, adoption can be done in one's behavior so that he keeps on the balance and doesn't come across a very snobbish person or someone who is lost in his own world and loses out everything, like he loses his values, his everything, his relationships and all. So what behavioral changes, or how should one behave, if is there anything which you want to touch upon?
So, Rahul, I would like to first tell you that behavior is actually a consequence. Okay, so when you talk about changing behavior about a situation, about whatever you are mentioning here, what essentially needs to happen is you need to see the emotion that comes up, which is before that. It is only when we make peace with the emotions that come up with the events or with the thoughts around money, around losing it or having a lot of it or not coming across as a snobbish person. These are these are the behavioral or beliefs which is a consequence of how you feel. So you first need to come a step behind and actually see how you feel about it, how you feel as you are knowing this, how you feel, what is it that is coming up for you, and what is the emotion that comes up for you, if you can tell me, when it does happen, when you do come across as a snobbish person, or when uh,
Yeah, the point which you made, making peace with your emotion, I really like that thought. I would, this is something which I was one of the important takeaway for me, and especially believing, making me understand it's a consequence of emotion is also kind of self-reflecting for me. And to answer you, like how I feel, like I feel that the group or the place where am I don't belong there kind of stuff, or uh, kind of not able to relate to the surrounding in which I am in. So I kind of want to cut out and be in my own space to make myself comfortable.
Right, right. So this is what needs further exploration. This is what needs to be seen deeply. And once, maybe if you work with a professional, you work with a therapist, you work with someone who can guide you through your emotions, who can help you with it, I can certainly do that. But you need to actually take out time and work with it, be there for this emotion, because otherwise it simply continues, Rahul. It simply continues. Even if my money reality goes up or it goes down, if I have this feeling within me, I will find situations, I will find instances where I keep feeling this way. So it is the feeling which is associated with money, and I need to disassociate and work on it so that I can have this whole space and I can tap into it, right? So working on it, identifying it, and not just keeping it in the back seat as something which will just take care of itself, because that doesn't happen. It simply stays there, it occupies space within us,
Correct.
and we keep falling into the same situations again and again, right? So taking out time, working on it, finding a professional, there are so many ways out there. You need to select one of them, right? So that would certainly help you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Shruti.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, Sakshi. Thank you. And thank you, Ramya, for your comments. So I'm done here. If anyone else has other questions, I don't see anything in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for coming and attending this, for trusting the space, and looking forward to meet you all again sometime. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.